They knocked down the new girl in front of everyone, then learned she signed their paychecks. What did Natasha Sink see while face down on the gravel? And why did she smile? They saw a duffel, a quiet face, and a base pass that flickered green. They saw new. They didn't see the Admiral stars wrapped in a microfiber cloth inside the side pocket. The bus coughed her out at the gate. She kept her cap low, kept her voice lower. Transfer logistics, the guard scanned. Looked bored. Waved her through. Barracks C smelled like bleach, coffee, and a little fear. Her bunk had a wobble. She liked it. Wobbles tell you how a place moves. She walked the spine road at noon. Trucks idled. Forklifts beeped. A corporal smoked under a no-smoking sign like it paid him. She watched, listening for the rhythm of the bass. Every place has a beat. This one skipped. The chow hall line was loud. She kept to the wall. That's when the shoulder hit her, hard. Tray, rice, and shame went airborne. Laughter followed. Eyes up, rookie, the hitter said. Private First Class Kellen. Square jaw. Loose morals. The pack behind him howled like it was sport day. Natasha tasted iron. She looked at the floor, not him. Let them play their role. She crouched, gathering peas. Boots circled. Someone nudged her tray farther with a toe. Pick it up faster, newbie. Another voice. Logistics? That means counting. Can you count to 10? She counted. Not peas. Cameras. Exits. The pause from the sergeant at the end of the aisle who saw and turned away. 4 exits. 2 cameras. 1 sergeant who owed someone a favor. Natasha stood quiet. She smiled like she didn't know how to be angry. Sorry, she said. Polite. Light. Then she moved aside and let them pass. At a corner table, a tech in grease-marked sleeves made space. You okay? She asked. Name tape Ortiz, Natasha nodded. Unlucky, Ortiz said. They pick on ghosts. New faces. It'll pass. Ghosts see everything, Natasha said. Ortiz looked at her like she wasn't sure she'd heard right. That night, Natasha did laundry. The washroom hummed. Machines rattled like cheap drums. Kellen came in with 2 friends. He grinned. Look who's keeping the base tidy. They blocked the door for a beat. She watched the clock's second hand in the reflection of a detergent bottle. Tick, tick. He flicked her cap. Smile logistics, she smiled. Sure, she said. Kellen leaned closer. Say please. Ortiz appeared in the doorway like she'd taken a wrong turn and found courage. Leave her, Ortiz said. Kellen laughed and brushed past, shoulder-checking Natasha again on the way out. When they were gone, Ortiz hissed, Report it. Natasha shook her head. Not yet. She returned to her bunk. Pulled the microfiber cloth from her duffel. She unwrapped the stars in the dark. Cold metal. No witnesses. She rewrapped them. Morning formation came with fog. Announcements blurred. A memo rattled about readiness in a tone that made the word empty. Kellen winked at her from the second row. He'd enjoyed yesterday. People like him keep score. The logistics office was chaos disguised as spreadsheets. Phones screamed. Labels lied. Natasha worked a broken terminal with a sticky spacebar and a database that stuttered. Every third entry was wrong in a new way. Wrong as a map if you read it. By noon, she'd traced a missing radio part from a vendor to a truck to a loading dock that didn't exist on paper. By 2, she had a list of doors propped open with optimism and a mop bucket. By 4, she had the name of the sergeant who lost things on Fridays. She wrote nothing down. Paper talks. Eyes don't. At dusk, she walked the perimeter. The fence hummed. The cameras blinked. In one blind zone near the motor pool, a headlight flashed twice, then 3 times. A signal. She stayed in shadow and listened. 2 voices. A crate. A laugh about inventory dust. Natasha adjusted her cap. Stepped forward to see the faces, and a hand clamped over her mouth from behind. If this new girl versus corrupt base hooked you, subscribe now for part 2. Comment Ghost Eyes to unlock the next intel drop. Hit the bell for military base thriller, Undercover Admiral, and logistics conspiracy updates. The grip was strong but not cruel. Don't, a whisper said. She bit the palm anyway. The hand jerked back. She pivoted low. Elbow to ribs, a muffled grunt. Moonlight caught a familiar face. Ortiz. Breathing hard. Sorry, Ortiz hissed. I saw you tailing them. You'll blow it. They watched that spot. A crate thumped on the other side of the trucks. A laugh, metal on metal. Then an engine coughed and faded. Shadows slipped away, carrying the night with them. Natasha leaned against chain link and listened to the fence vibrate. "Why did you follow me?" she asked. Ortiz shrugged. Grease under her nails, worry in her eyes. "Because you don't flinch. That scares me." They walked the long way back, faces bland, steps quiet. Inside the bay, Ortiz clicked on a single work lamp. "Circles of light make truth smaller. People go missing here," Ortiz said. "Not bodies, paper, tools, inputs, you know." Natasha nodded. "I know." Ortiz rubbed her arms. "Look, Kellen is noise. This other thing is heat. The kind that melts names off tags." Natasha stored the line. She liked how mechanics speak. They name the failure, not the feeling. Next morning, a training alert called everyone to the parade ground. A colonel no one respected barked about tightening bolts. Half the eyes drifted. Kellen smirked. Natasha stood still and counted who actually listened. 27 out of 200. A readiness score dressed up as applause. After, the communications shop chewed its nails. "Antennas down to 60%, a sergeant muttered. "Waiting on parts. 2 weeks. 2 weeks is an invitation." Natasha borrowed a phone, made 3 calls with a voice that flattened bureaucracy like a steamroller. She didn't use rank. She used facts, order numbers, dock times, the name of the driver whose mother made lemon pie on Sundays. By lunch, the parts moved. She ate alone. Kellen walked by. He tapped her tray again. A reflex, not a message. Bullies repeat themselves when they're not smart. "Big day in logistics?" he said. "Always," she said. He leaned in. "You look like you have secrets." "Everyone does," she said. He curled a smile. "Show me one." Across the room, a captain in supply watched them. Too carefully. Shiny watch, wary eyes. Natasha filed him under yes at 1500. The parts arrived early. The comms team cheered like it was payday. Natasha kept to the door. Sergeant Toma, cheeks hollow from too many night shifts, said, "Who pulled that off?" "Lucky routing," she said. He stared. "Routing doesn't get lucky." She walked the motor pool at dusk. Rodriguez, head down in a hood, swore at a stubborn bolt. "You're new," he said without looking up. Natasha. Rod. "Why is every second truck cannibalized?" "Because every first truck is a liar," he said. "They say they're fine until they're not, and the mission doesn't move on fine. Who sets your schedule?" "Someone who loves spreadsheets and hates dirt." A crow landed on the fence. It watched them like it owned the air. Rod lowered the hood. "You talk like an officer." "I read manuals," she said. After lights out, she walked again. Same blind zone, nothing but fresh tire dust. A dragged line like a crate had kissed the ground. Back in the barracks, she saw it, her duffel unzipped. Quiet wrongness. She checked the side pocket. The microfiber cloth was there. The stars were not. Her chest didn't surge. Her breath stayed even. Panic is loud. She needed silence. A note lay on her pillow. One sentence, block letters, sharp edges. "Sweet metal, we'll hold it for you. Smile tomorrow." She turned the paper over. A fingerprint smudge in graphite. Someone liked to write angry. She folded the note, placed it back where it had been. In the hallway, laughter rolled. Kellen's voice among them, too pleased. At dawn, the base loudspeaker crackled. "Change of command rehearsal 1600. All departments prep." A current went through the building. Rumors woke up. A new admiral, finally. Natasha tied her boots. In the mirror, a new girl stared back, patient as a bomb with a soft tick. She opened her door and found Kellen waiting. Her microfiber cloth dangling from his finger. Don't miss how the Undercover Admiral flips the power dynamic. Drop a soft tick in the comments, share, and tap the bell for part 3 of this military base mystery. Kellen twirled the cloth like a prize ribbon. "Lose something shiny?" Natasha kept her face empty. "Laundry day." He sniffed the cloth theatrically. "Smells like rank." Behind him, the corridor was a tunnel of doors and thin walls. Open space for witnesses who pretend to be asleep. He held out the cloth. "Say please." She took it without a word, folded it neat, slid it into her pocket. He blinked, annoyed his script had been rewritten. "You and I," he said, "we're going to get along." "We already are," she said. He didn't get it. He wouldn't until it was too late. In the office, a major with red hair and a migraine handed Natasha a stack of backlogged requisitions. "Welcome to the swamp," Natasha dove in. "Errors glow when you're looking for heat. Duplicate orders. Ghost signatures. A pallet that traveled 2 bases in 1 day without wheels." She flagged none. She mapped all. At lunch, Ortiz slid into the seat opposite. Someone opened your duffel? Yeah, you report it? Later, Ortiz chewed a nail. You're going to make waves. I'm going to measure them first. The captain with the shiny watch passed again. Peterson. He had the walk of a man editing his own story in real time. He smiled like glass. New face, he said. Enjoying logistics? Immensely, she said. Good, he said. We need enthusiasm. Things go missing when passion fades. He left before she could answer. Guilty people love finishing their own conversations. By mid-afternoon, the comm spires hummed stronger. Sergeant Toma gave her a nod he didn't give to many. Whatever you did, keep doing it. Just paperwork, she said. He laughed. Paperwork is where wars live. She printed nothing. She photographed nothing. She memorized routes the way divers memorize breath. Inside the supply depot, a camera pointed at the wrong door on purpose. The sign-in book had 2 inks and 1 lie. And on the back desk, under a plant that drank more dust than water, a ledger with entries that read like confessions. She ran her finger an inch above the page. Never touch poison with bare skin. Night brought wind. She used it. Walked the fence when storms made microphones deaf. Ortiz met her by the dead forklift. Don't go alone, Ortiz said. I never do, Natasha said. She meant the old voices in her head. Instructors. Masters at arms. The admiral who'd pinned her last set of bars and told her, listen more than you speak. She tried. They heard it before they saw it. A soft clatter in the depot. A back door sign closed. They moved. Shadows slipped over oil stains and bad decisions. At the loading dock, a crate waited like a story that dared you to read it. On the top corner, a smudge. Graphite again, Ortiz whispered. We should call it in. And tell who? Natasha asked. Someone who won't sheaf it in a folder labeled later. Natasha slid the pry bar beneath a nail. A small pop. She lifted. A flashlight burned her eyes. Step away, a voice said. Boots thudded behind them. What you doing, newbies? Kellen, 2 others. Peterson lingering in the glow. Not close enough to own it, not far enough to deny it. The flashlight found Natasha's face. Curious? Kellen asked. Always, she said. Peterson cleared his throat. Procedures exist for a reason. Natasha nodded. Then let's follow them. Inventory this now. The men chuckled. At night? Now, she repeated. Peterson looked at Kellen. Something passed between them. Tomorrow, Peterson said. By the book, he turned. Kellen's flashlight dipped. The moment folded after they left, Ortiz whispered, You picked a fight. No, Natasha said. I set a time. Next day, a memo arrived. Inspection postponed. Unexpected scheduling conflicts. The crate was gone. Natasha stared at the empty space where Truth had stood. Her jaw tightened for the first time. At 1600, the rehearsal began. Flags, polished boots, a script for ceremony. Natasha watched from the back row. Her stars were still missing. Her patience was not. The colonel tripped over the phrase new admiral. Murmurs rippled. Ortiz glanced at Natasha, a question in her eyes. Kellen leaned in from the row behind. Big day coming, he whispered. Bigger than you know, she said. He laughed. Then a runner sprinted across the field, urgent, breathless. He halted the rehearsal, shoved a note into the colonel's hand. The colonel's face drained. Shelter in place, he barked into the mic. This is not a drill. Want the sirens and secrets? Like, subscribe, and comment not a drill to get part 4 fast. Follow for base lockdown, corrupt supply chain, and hidden admiral twists. The sirens sliced the sky. Doors slammed. Shades dropped. The base held its breath. Natasha didn't. She moved. Lockdowns reveal who owns the hallways. In logistics, phones screamed and then died. Network throttled. Manuals came out, dusty and unhelpful. The major with the migraine pushed a cart of binders like a medic in a book war. Catalog essential assets, she said. Now, Natasha began where the lies lived. Supply depot manifests. Yesterday's ignored. Today's erased. Ortiz called from the motor pool. They're trying to move trucks in the storm. To where? Box them in, Natasha said. Where'd you lift? Accident? A pause. A small laugh. I like how your mind breaks things. She cut through admin. A printer jam blinked like a tiny lighthouse. On the table, an open folder. Change of command. Final draft. She skimmed. Saw her own name black-barred in the prep copy. So that was the plan. Surprise, then ceremony. In the comms shack, Sergeant Toma fought the grid like a stubborn tide. "We're being throttled from inside," he said. "Who has keys?" she asked. "Peterson's people touched the routers last week for power testing." Natasha's mouth made a line. "Root around it." "Can't." "You can," she said. He held her stare. Then he nodded and tore into the rack like a surgeon who remembers he loves the work. A corporal bumped into her in the hallway. "Ma'am," he began, stopped, corrected himself. "Miss, rumors say sabotage." "Rumors say many things," she said. "We store the truth in crates," he whispered like it was a joke he regretted. "Which crates?" "Dock B. At Dock B, 2 MPs looked bored on purpose. Board guards or tells. Order says no access," one said. "Show me the order," she said. They couldn't, they had only a tone. She paced the edge. Counted bolts. Listened to the wind become information. Behind a stack of pallet wrap, a vent cover rattled. "Every secret needs air." She unscrewed it with a coin. Inside, a canvas bag. She slid it free, weighty, soft clink. She opened it halfway and saw the curve of a star. Her stars. Breath exhaled slow. She wanted to laugh and didn't. She zipped the bag and tucked it under her jacket. Then she heard the click. "Safety off hands," a voice said. "Kellen." He looked almost sorry, almost. "Orders," he said. "From who?" "Paper," he said. He meant Peterson. He meant fear. "Walk," he said. They moved between pallets and lives. The storm hammered the roof. They rounded the last stack and ran into Ortiz, who had a wrench and a look. She didn't swing. She blocked the path and stared Kellen down. "You don't want this," Ortiz said. "Move," he said. "Make me," she said. He wavered. His hand shook a little. "Even bullies feel weather." The loudspeaker coughed. Comms found a throat. "Attention all personnel, secure inventory. Audit teams to assigned sectors." Toma had done it. A vein opened. Information flowed. Kellen stepped back. "What are you?" he asked Natasha. "Logistics," she said. It was true. The humankind. He lowered the pistol, disgusted with himself. "Go," he said. "But this isn't over." "It's not," she agreed. She and Ortiz moved fast. The bag heavy with stars. Natasha's jacket hid them like a horizon hides a city. They reached the admin building. The colonel roared orders that collided midair. Peterson walked in slow circles, choosing where to look. Natasha stepped into a side office, shut the door, and locked it. She unzipped the bag. Laid the stars on the table. They caught the emergency lights and threw them back. Her phone buzzed with a coded text. "Ceremony advanced. 1700. You'll be announced on stage." She exhaled. Orthodoxy had arrived. She pinned the first star and thought about gravel. Pinned the second and thought about silence. Pinned the third and thought about the small curve of Ortiz's stubborn chin. Pinned the fourth, and the office door exploded inward. Hit like if you felt that storm. Subscribe and comment. Pin the stars to get part 5. Stay for lockdown thriller, undercover reveal, and base conspiracy payoffs. Splinters flew. Peterson filled the doorway with 2 MPs behind him. His smile had the sheen of cheap plastic. Private meetings during lockdown? Unwise, he saw the stars on the desk. He went perfectly still. The MPs did too. Natasha didn't reach for them. Hands on the table. Palms calm. "Close the door," she said. Peterson didn't. He flicked his eyes to the MPs. "Confiscate unauthorized insignia." "Show me the unauthorized order," she said. He opened his mouth, found it empty. "In process," he said. "Like your audits?" she asked. He stepped inside. The MPs followed. Ortiz's shadow hovered in the hall, half seen, half risk. "This base has a problem," Natasha said. "We agree," Peterson said. "The problem is you," she said. He smiled wider. "Careful." She slid a sheet across the table. Not paper, the microfiber cloth. He stared at it. "Confused?" "Your graphite smudge," she said. "On crates, on notes." "On theft." One MP shifted. The other swallowed. Truth changes humidity in a room. The speaker in the ceiling crackled. A new voice. Formal. Measured. "Attendance requested at 1700. All departments stand by for command transition." Then, as if cleared by lightning, a name. Admiral. The speaker cut. Static swallowed the title. Someone had yanked a plug. Peterson moved fast. "Take her!" he snapped. The MPs hesitated. Natasha stood, slow. Let them see the height of her calm. "Think, Corporal," she said to the nearest MP. "Who signs your leave? Who clears your hazard pay? Who calls your mother when you don't walk back through the gate?" He blinked like the room had gotten brighter. The second MP's gaze flicked to the stars and then to Peterson's watch. That watch cost too much. That's how rot introduces itself. Sirens wailed again. A heavier note. "Not lockdown. Response." Rodriguez burst in, face raw with urgency. "Fuel leak at the motor pool," he barked. "Peterson, your signature is on a transfer that routes tanker trucks right through the blind zone." Peterson's jaw tightened. "Contain it," he snapped. "We did," Rod said. "By not following your order." Ortiz stepped fully into the door now, wrenched down at her side. Her eyes dared anyone to tell her she was in the wrong room. Natasha picked up the stars, clasped 1, 2, 3, 4 in clean final clicks. Her uniform changed the air. Even the emergency lights adjusted. "Stand straight," she told the MPs. They did. Peterson stepped back like the floor had turned to water. He started. "Yes," she said. The corridor outside filled with footsteps. Sergeant Toma arrived, headset crooked, sweat and triumph on his forehead. "We're live," he said. "Audits, cams, manifest, everything. I broadcast the feed to the parade monitors." Peterson lunged for the door. Ortiz blocked him with an inch of steel and a lifetime of being underestimated. He stopped.